What is going on, my good people? This is your man Thano, and you're watching Thano at Self Help. Regular people helping each other help themselves. We're looking at Lina here. This is Lina. Her family moved here from Afghanistan, trying to, get away from the chaos, to say the least, and wording it lightly, the chaos in Afghanistan. So they come here to America, and unfortunately, the baby girl goes missing from a park in an apartment complex. Before we really dive deep into her story, I'm going to say this. I can understand why, with them coming from Afghanistan, the type of things that they probably deal with, why they would probably not carry a gun. I can understand that. So, and again, I'm not directing any of this towards them. But what I like to do in my videos is talk about solutions. How can we sort of prevent some of these things? What can we do differently? And the first thing I'm going to say is this. Excuse me. When I take my daughter to the park, I'm strapped. I'm carrying all the time. In fact, I remember going to parks and seeing other fathers there, and those fathers were strapped. They were carrying. And the reason is because babies want to play. You let them run and play. She can run to the other side of that swing, or the other side of that jungle gym or whatever, and could be gone just that fast. The reason that can happen. Another example is I remember once taking my daughter to a park, and there was a guy just standing off in the back, just kind of watching the kids play. And I watched him for a while, and I realized that he wasn't there with a kid. I sort of approached him and made him uncomfortable. I made him uncomfortable. And he walked away. And the whole purpose was to see if he was going to walk away. With him walking away, he had no reason to be there. He could have potentially been a predator. We don't know. Or maybe he just, it's innocent kids playing and he just like to watch kids play. That's some weird shit. With all this mess that's going on right now, that's weird. So, situations like that, you never know. The people like that, how their minds work, they're looking for any vulnerability, any opportunity at any time to snatch a kid. And you can turn your head for just a couple of seconds and boom. Right? So this is the reason, like when I take my daughter to a park, she's climbing up the swings. I may not climb everything because I'm strapped. She know I'm strapped. And Daddy can't do all that running right now because Daddy's protecting you. And she understands what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I do. I'm going to share one quick story with you before we dive into this. Again, because I like to dive into solutions to the problems. How do we prevent these type of things from happening, right? And maybe in the future I'll do this towards the end of the video. I definitely don't want to be taking anything away from Lina here and her family, right? But I like to dive into the solutions first, simply because this is such I'm struggling not crying right now. Right, it's very difficult, and again, it's one of the reasons why I kind of stopped for a while, because it's hard dealing with it, like going through this and knowing what families are going through and this baby, So listen, at a park once, there was a mom. She was on her phone. She was preoccupied and she distracted, and a guy grabbed her son and put him in the car and was trying to rough him up and trying to get him quiet. What made it stand out is this was an old chubby, old chubby white guy, and it was a little black boy. And people saw that and was like, what's going on with that? And approached him. They challenged him. And they saved that little boy's life that day. Or they spared him from whatever that man might wanted to do. Right? He got out the car. They was able to return that kid to the mom because he was confronted, blocked in. He's not going anywhere. Right now, me personally, if I would have saw that, The video that you would saw online would have been very different. That man would have been in pieces on the floor. There's no way that I'm just gonna just let him. Don't you ever do that again? No, you're gonna be in pieces. Get the kid out of there, and now let's tear you apart. You're not walking away from here in one piece. That's not happening. I'm sorry. I would not be able to do that. Right? I digress. But it's just that quick. You could turn your head for a second, and somebody is trying to snatch your kid. I've seen it. Like I've already explained. The guy standing in a park just watching the kid's place, like he's waiting for his opportunity. So we have to be precautious and understand that we live in a world amongst there's some really sick, twisted people out here. Anybody would prey on a child like that. It's just, so prayers out to Lina, her family, and all those people that, that may have experienced something similar to this. So listen, what we're going to do at this point, we'll go ahead and play this video for you guys. Texas, this is you, Texas. Eyes open, eyes alert. Lina's been missing since December 20th? If I'm not mistaken, or 21st. All this information, I have all the clarity you need on that in just a second. First, we're going to watch this video.
First at 10, frustration from the San Antonio police chief tonight in the search for 3-year-old Lina Sardar Khil. There's still no sign of her after she disappeared 8 days ago. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sharon Coe. In a briefing today, Chief William McManus said canines are searching the greenbelts to leave no stone unturned. Tonight, we've learned the Bexar County Sheriff's Office Mounted Patrol is assisting in Lina's case. Plus, new at 10, we're hearing from a highly trained group that police called on to help find the little girl. Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos begins our coverage tonight.
All-out searches for a missing little girl. Lina Sardar Khil is only 3 years old and has been gone for more than a week. Today, even Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar on his horse looked for the child in several heavily wooded areas throughout the medical center close to where Lina disappeared.
We only activate at the request of law enforcement.
Also on the ground, Alamo Area Search and Rescue.
Our goal always is to have a successful ending to the story.
The volunteer and highly trained group was asked by San Antonio police to help find Lina. They're using specialized canines in this case.
The canine is the one doing the work. They're trained to look for live find. We have a couple of bloodhounds that we use. They get a scent article from the individual's family.
Lee Wingert with the group tells KENS 5 they've done multiple searches at the apartment complex where Lina vanished. Today, the group searched an area that was an interest of investigators. They looked for 4 hours, but no luck.
It's disheartening that we haven't found anything that leads us closer to Lina.
And since this is an active investigation, this particular group is on standby. When SAPD calls, they will be ready to search for Lina. In the meantime, we're going to talk about another group that is going to be looking.
All right, so, all right, there's that, and this is some FBI information for you guys, right? This is her name, Lina Sardar Khil, right? There she is. Most important information is right here, right? Your details, if you want to submit a tip. Right there, right? There's your number. Feel free to, pause. You need to do that. And that's going to be it, right? Our prayers go out to Lina, her family, her loved ones. Absolutely heartbreaking, this situation. We're in 2021 now, so she's been missing for a few days now, for a little while. That's her face. That's who she is. That's how she looks. So Texas, eyes open, man. Let's help this family find their daughter. At least do the best we can to help them. All right? Prayers out. And this is your man, Thano. You watch a thing like self-help. Regular people helping each other help themselves. We out here, man.